everyone. So today we will start a new unit, that is dynamics of fluid flow. In the previous unit we discussed about kinematics of fluid flow, and I told you the difference that in kinematics we just discussed about the velocity and acceleration, and we didn't discuss about the forces which are causing that motion. So in this particular unit, in dynamics of fluid flow, we will particularly now discuss about the forces which are involved in the fluid motion. Okay, so now what are the kind of forces which are involved in any fluid, whether it be in stable position or whether it be in moving position. So what are the forces involved? I have already told you. So the very first kind of force is the body force, or you can call it as volume force. Body force or volume force are the forces which act throughout the volume of the body. For example, the weight of the body, which acts throughout the volume of the body. Okay, and it is proportional to the volume of the body. For example, gravity force, as I told you. For example, centrifugal force, which acts throughout the volume. For example, electrostatic force, if it is under the influence of electrostatic field. For example, magnetic force, if it is under the influence of magnetic field. So all these forces are known as the body force, or you can call it as volume force. Okay, so these are proportional to volume of the body. These are proportional to volume of body. For example, as I told you, the weight of the body, the centrifugal force, magnetic force, etc. Okay. Second type of forces are the surface force. The force which is proportional to the surface area. Now, what are the forces which are proportional to surface area? First is the pressure force, then the shear force, the tangential force. So all these forces are which acts on the surface, which are proportional to the surface area, are known as surface force. Okay, so you can write down the example as pressure force, shear force, etc. Okay. Now one more kind of force is there, however the magnitude is small, that is the line force, which is proportional to length, and the example of this force is surface tension. Okay, surface tension is a line force, as I have already told you, force per unit length F by L. We have discussed about the surface tension. So these are all kinds of the forces which acts on the fluid. Okay, so the total force here, so the total force acting on the fluid element, you can write it as F is equal to Fg plus Fp plus Fv plus Ft plus Fe plus Fs. Okay, now what are these forces? So here Fg is nothing but gravity force, which is a body force. Fp is a pressure force. Then we have Fv, which is viscous force. Ft is turbulent force. Fe is elastic force, and Fs is surface tension force. Okay, so these are all kinds of forces acting on the fluid: gravity force, pressure force, viscous force, turbulent force, elastic force, and force due to surface tension. Now, very important thing, suppose the fluid is in motion, we are having a moving fluid. So in moving fluid, obviously this surface tension force will be neglected, because surface tension is almost negligible in the flowing liquid. Second, elastic force will also be neglected. Okay, therefore for the fluids in motion, Fs and Fe can be neglected. That means, therefore, this total force in moving fluid will be equal to Fg plus Fp plus Fv plus Ft. This is known as Reynolds equation. Getting this? Gravity force plus pressure force plus viscous force plus turbulent force. Clear or not? Okay, next, now let's suppose this the fluid motion is a laminar, we are having a laminar flow. Okay, so for laminar flow, okay, so for laminar flow this Ft will be neglected. Okay, so for laminar flow this F will be equal to Fg plus Fp plus Fv. Okay, this equation is Navier-Stokes equation. Clear? Okay, so for laminar flow total force F is equal to Fg plus Fp plus Fv. Okay, now again let's suppose we are having an ideal fluid. Okay, so for ideal fluid obviously this viscous force will be equal to 0 and we will get only gravity force and pressure force. Okay, so for ideal fluid Fv is neglected and we will get what? Total F will be equal to Fg plus Fp. Very important thing. Total F is equal to gravity force, which is nothing but the body force, plus the pressure force. Okay, and this equation is known as Euler's equation of motion. Okay, so Euler's equation says total force is equal to the body force or gravity force plus the pressure force. Okay, now further this can be written as we know total net force F is equal to m into A. Okay, so further this can be written as what? So total m into Ax, ma is equal to Fg plus Fp. Further max in x direction is equal to Fgx plus Fpx. May is equal to Fgy plus Fpy. Maz is equal to Fgz plus Fpz. Okay, so this is known as the Euler's equation of motion. F is equal to Fg plus Fp. Okay, and as I have told you that this Euler's equation of motion is only valid for ideal fluid and not for the not for the real fluid. Okay, and it consists of only two forces. First is the gravity force or body force and second is the pressure force. Getting this or not? Next we will derive this Euler's equation of motion. Okay, so now let's suppose we are having a small element of dimension dx, dy and dz in x, y, z direction respectively. The pressure acting at this end is, let's suppose, P, and here the pressure is changing and the changed pressure is P plus del P by del x into dx. Okay, so the pressure acting is P and P plus del P by del x into dx. So what will be the force acting? Pressure into area. Okay, so what will be the area here? This area will be considered. Okay, and this area is how much? This is nothing but dy into dz. So this will be P dy into dz. Getting this? Similarly here P plus del P by del x into dx into dy into dz. Okay, so these are the forces acting. Similarly you can do it in y direction and z direction as well. We will just consider x direction now. Okay, now let's suppose capital X, capital Y and capital Z are component of body forces per unit mass. Okay, per unit mass the component of body forces in x direction is x, in y direction is y and in z direction it is z. Now total mass of the element, mass is equal to what? Volume into mass is equal to volume into density. Okay, density is suppose rho and volume of this element is what? Dx dy into dz. Okay, so this is total mass. Now what will be the total x component force? The body force component in x direction. Okay, so total component of force in x direction. Okay, total body force, what will, so this x, y and z are the body forces per unit mass and total mass is this much. So total force will be equal to x into mass, which is rho into dx dy into dz. This is total component of force in x direction. Similarly in y direction, total component force y rho dx dy dz, and in z direction total force will be equal to z into rho dx dy into dz. Okay, so these are the body forces. Now similarly we can determine the pressure forces. Now what is the pressure force? So net pressure force in x direction. Here the pressure acting is P dy dz, pressure force acting is P dy dz. Here P plus del P by del x into dx into dy dz. Therefore pressure force first in x direction Fpx will be equal to P dy dz minus P plus del P by del x into dx into dy dz. Okay, so from here this P dy dz will get cancelled out and we will get what? Minus del P by del x into dx dy dz. This is net pressure force in x direction. Similarly, net pressure force in y direction Fpy will be equal to minus del P by del y dx dy dz, and net pressure force in z direction minus del P by del z into dx dy dz. Getting this? Okay. Now we know what? Summation of F net is equal to m into a. This is Newton's second law. Okay. Now net force acting is equal to total body force plus pressure force. Okay, so we are considering in x direction, body force is this much and pressure force we are having is this much. Okay, so net force will be equal to total body force, which is x into rho dx dy dz minus del P by del x into dx dy dz is equal to m into a. Mass is rho, volume into density, into dx dy dz into ax. Getting this? Okay, now this dx dy dz will get cancelled out. Okay, and if we divide it by rho, we will get what? So this will be equal to x minus 1 by rho del P by del x is equal to ax. Okay, rho will be cancelled out here. Now similarly in y direction, this will be y minus 1 by rho del P by del y is equal to ay, and in z direction this will be z minus 1 by rho del P by del z, this will be equal to az. Getting this? Okay, now ax, ay, az we have already know. The value of acceleration we have already determined. Ax is equal to what? Del u by del t plus u del u by del x plus v del u by del y plus w del u by del z. We have already determined this. Okay, similarly you can have ay and az as well. Okay, now so from here just put the value in this equation. Suppose this is equation 1. Putting the value in equation 1, 2 and 3, we will get what? Total x minus 1 by rho del P by del x is equal to x minus 1 by rho del P by del x is equal to ax. So just put the value of this ax. So this will be equal to what? Del u by del t plus u del u by del x plus v del u by del y plus w del u by del z. Similarly in y direction, this will be y minus 1 by rho del P by del y is equal to del v by del t plus u del v by del x Similarly in z direction, z minus 1 by rho del P by del z is equal to del w by del t plus u del w by del x plus v del w by del y plus w del w by del z. Okay, this is Euler's equation of motion. Okay, very important. Euler's equation of motion. Clear or not? Okay, now there are certain assumptions which are made in order to derive this equation. So we will now see the assumptions made by Euler. Okay, so the Euler first assumed a force potential omega, capital omega, the uppercase omega in Greek. Okay, so he assumed a force potential omega such that total body force x is equal to minus del omega by del x, y is equal to minus del omega by del y, and z is equal to minus del omega by del z. Okay, so the Euler assumed one force potential omega such that x is equal to minus del omega by del x, y del omega by del y, z minus del omega by del z. First thing. Okay, second assumption, the flow is irrotational. Flow is irrotational. Now what does this mean? This means that the velocity potential exists, as we have already seen. If the flow is irrotational, then that is velocity potential exists. Okay, so either the flow is irrotational and velocity potential exists, or the flow may be rotational but it should be steady. Okay, flow may be rotational, but if the flow is rotational, it must be steady. This is the second assumption. Okay, so these are the two assumptions which Euler made while deriving this equation, and when we integrate this equation, when we integrate this Euler equation, we will not get into the complete integration, I will directly tell you. So on integrating Euler equation, you will get a very, very important equation, that is Bernoulli equation. Okay, so on integrating Euler equation, we will get Bernoulli equation, which says P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus z is equal to constant. This is Bernoulli's equation. Okay, this is also called as the energy equation. Now why this is called as energy equation, I will tell you. Okay, so the Bernoulli's equation says P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus z, this is equal to, this should be equal to constant. That means total head or total energy at any point of the flow field is constant. Okay, now this P by rho g, or you can say this P by gamma, the very first term, which is P by gamma here. Okay, so this P by gamma is nothing but pressure head, or you can call it as static head. Okay, now what is this pressure head? Pressure head means head pressure in terms of head. Okay, in terms of meter, as I told you that P is equal to rho gh or gamma into h. When I express this pressure in terms of meter, this will be equal to P by gamma. Okay, so this P by gamma is nothing but pressure head. Now what is this pressure head? This pressure head is actually the work done by the pressure force per unit weight. Work done by the pressure force per unit weight, very important. So this work done by pressure force per unit weight, or you can call it as flow work or flow energy. Okay, why am I saying this work done by pressure force per unit weight? So work done, as we know, is what? Total force into displacement. Okay, force is pressure into area. Suppose the area is dA and displacement is suppose ds. Okay, so this total work done is equal to P into dA into ds. Okay, divided by per unit weight, as I told you, divided by weight. Now weight, what will be weight? Suppose this is the element, this is flowing, the distance traveled is ds, the area here is dA, so force is equal to P dA into ds. Okay, now what will be the total weight? So total weight is specific weight into volume, and volume is what? dA into ds, dA into ds. So this will be cancelled out and we will get what? P by gamma. Okay, so this P by gamma is actually the work done or the energy, the pressure energy per unit weight of the fluid. Getting this or not? Okay, similarly the second term which we got was the V square by 2g. Again this is a velocity head, or you can say call it as kinetic head. Okay, and this is also equal to kinetic energy per unit weight. Kinetic energy per unit. Why so? Kinetic energy, as we know, is what? Half mv square per unit weight, m into g. Okay, so we will get what? V square by 2g. Okay, so this V square by 2g is nothing but kinetic energy per unit weight. Similarly, one more term was there, that is Z, which is potential energy or potential head or datum head. Okay, or you can call it as potential energy per unit weight. Okay, why so? Potential energy is what? mgh, yeah, mgz divided by weight mg, will get what? Z. Okay, so this actually P by rho g plus v square by 2g plus z. This is Bernoulli's equation, or you can also call it as energy equation. This is also energy equation because this represents total energy, pressure energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. This total energy in any flow remains constant. Okay, no, so this Bernoulli's equation and energy equation are same macroscopically, but when we go microscopically, in microscopic condition we will also have to consider the kinetic energy of individual molecules. Okay, so this Bernoulli's equation and energy equation holds good, are actually the same for macroscopically but not microscopically. Getting this or not? Okay, now one more thing, this P by gamma plus Z. Okay, when I eliminate this v square by 2g, I will get the term what? P by gamma plus Z. This is nothing but piezometric head. P by gamma plus Z is nothing but piezometric head. This we have already discussed. As I told you, with the help of piezometer, when we measure the height, we will get piezometric head, which is P by gamma plus Z. Okay, and the unit for this head, this is nothing but energy per unit weight. Okay, if I tell you the dimensional formula, this will be energy per unit weight. Energy is Newton meter. Okay, weight is Newton, so finally we will get in terms of meter only. Okay, in terms of dimensional formula, the dimensional formula of energy is ml2 t minus 2 divided by weight, which is mlt minus 2. Okay, so the dimensional formula is again L. Okay, so this is what is called as the Bernoulli's equation, P by gamma plus v square by 2g plus z is equal to constant throughout the flow. Very important thing. Okay, now there are few notes which are very important. The very first note says, for irrotational flow, the total head is constant at all the points. If we are having an irrotational flow, okay, so in that irrotational flow, wherever you consider, the total head at that point or at all the points will be same. That means, suppose these are having different streamlines. So suppose total head at this point is suppose 100. So at this point also it will be 100. At this point also it will be 100. At this point also it will be 100. At all the points the total head will be same. So for irrotational flow, this is valid for irrotational flow only. Okay, so for irrotational flow, this Bernoulli's equation is applicable throughout the flow. Okay, now for rotational flow, this Bernoulli's equation is valid for the particular stream only. That means the total head is constant in the particular stream. For example, suppose we are having this stream, here total head is 100, so at all the points of this stream the total head will be same. Now in different stream the total head may be different. Here suppose 80, but in this particular stream at all points this total head will be same. So for rotational flow, the Bernoulli's equation is applicable for the particular stream, but for irrotational flow the Bernoulli's equation is applicable everywhere. Getting this now? Okay, so these are very important note. For irrotational flow, total head is constant at all the points. For rotational flow, it will be constant at the particular stream. Now, there is one important assumption while deriving this Euler equation. Okay, and that assumption says that velocity is constant or uniform throughout the section. Velocity is uniform throughout the cross section. Now what does this mean? This means that we are assuming, suppose this is the velocity, the water is flowing through this, and we are assuming that the velocity is constant throughout the section. Okay, but in actual case, as we know, this cannot be the actual case. So what happens in the actual case, the velocity distribution is somewhat like this, as we all know. Okay, at the walls velocity is 0, and at center velocity is maximum if it is flowing through the pipe. So this is our actual case. Okay, but we are assuming that the velocity is constant, uniform throughout the section. This was our assumption. So in order to compensate for this assumption, we will use one correction factor that is called as the energy correction factor. Okay, so for this we will use one energy correction factor alpha. Okay, such that this alpha is equal to 1 by AV cube integration of small v cube into dA. Okay, where capital V here is average velocity, small v is local velocity at a point. Okay, now so this can be further written as
So here this alpha is equal to 1 by a integration of v cube into dA divided by capital V cube. Getting this? Okay. Now this 1 by a integration of small v cube into dA. Now what is this? This 1 by a integration of v cube dA. This is nothing but average of cube of local velocities at a section. Okay. Small velocity is local velocity at a point. We are taking the cube of the local velocity and we are taking the average integration of v cube into dA divided by a. Okay, so 1 by a integration of v cube dA is nothing but average of cube of local velocity at a section. Getting this now? Okay, similarly this capital V cube. What is this capital V cube? This is nothing but cube of average velocity. Okay, getting the difference? This is average of cube of local velocity at a section and this is the cube of average velocity. Now according to mathematics we know that the average of cube of the number is always greater than the cube of average number. Okay, now what does this mean? This means that this 1 by a integration of v cube dA, this will be always greater than v cube. Getting this not? Average of cube, you can try for any number. Average of cube is always greater than the cube of average. Okay, that means this term is greater than this term. That means this alpha is always greater than or equal to 1. Getting this not? Okay, now for laminar flow, this alpha is equal to 2, and for turbulent flow, this alpha lies between 1.01 to 1.2. Now why so? Because the laminar flow, for laminar flow the flow is very slow and the flow velocity is slow, and if the flow velocity is slow, it is more likely to follow this curve. The velocity will be non-uniform throughout the section if the flow is slow. On the other hand, if the flow is fast, if the fluid is moving with a very very fast velocity, it will almost, the velocity will be almost uniform throughout the section. Okay, so the turbulent flow follows much of our assumption that the velocity is uniform throughout the section. The laminar flow, in laminar flow, velocity is non-uniform throughout the section. So the value of this alpha is more for the laminar flow and less for the turbulent flow. Getting this or not? Okay, so you can write down this note: alpha of laminar is greater than alpha of turbulent, because the error in velocity distribution of laminar flow with respect to uniform velocity assumed is more compared to that of the turbulent flow. First thing. Second important note is Bernoulli's equation and energy equation are same macroscopically but not microscopically. Okay, Bernoulli's Bernoulli's equation and energy equation are same macroscopically. That means macroscopically दोनों equation same है. Bernoulli's equation is equal to energy equation, you can say macroscopically, but not microscopically. Microscopically there will be difference, because when we go for the microscopic condition, we will have to consider the kinetic energy of each and every particle. Okay, so Bernoulli's and energy equation are same macroscopically but not microscopically. Getting this or not?
Okay, next is the application of Bernoulli's principle. Application of Bernoulli's principle, the very first application is the pitot tube. Now what is this pitot tube? With the help of this pitot tube, we can measure the velocity of flow at any point. How? I will tell you. So we have this arrangement. Here we have, this is nothing but the piezometer. Okay, and the height given by the piezometer, as I have already told you, is nothing but P by gamma plus Z, but because at this particular point, at these 2 points, this is point 1 and this is point 2, Z is same, so we will neglect that Z, and finally this will give us P by gamma, first thing. Okay, so this is piezometer. Then we have a pitot tube. This is the pitot tube. Okay, and what we are doing in pitot tube, we are having a nozzle here, and at the tip of this nozzle, whatever the water is flowing here, at this tip the velocity will be destroyed. That means at this particular point the velocity will be 0. So whatever we are getting is nothing but the pressure head. Getting this not? Okay, so this is nothing but this total head is nothing but pressure head, which is nothing but P2 by gamma. This is P1 by gamma. Okay, and this total is nothing but P2 by gamma. Okay, now